Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Ersita and Salsabila. I will tell you a story about Aladdin and Jasmine. Long ago, in a faraway land called Agrabah, there lived a poor orphan named Aladdin. One day, in the market, he stole some bread for his dinner. The Sultan's guard chased him, but he and his pet monkey, Abu, escaped. Just as Aladdin was about to eat, he noticed two children who looked hungrier than he was, so he gave the bread to them. Things will change, he promised Abu. Someday we'll be rich and never have any problems at all. That afternoon at the palace, the Sultan reminded his daughter, Princess Jasmine, that the laws of the kingdom state she must marry a prince before her next birthday. She had just 3 days left. She hadn't liked any of the suitors who had proposed to her. They had only been interested in wealth and power. Jasmine decided she would rather leave the palace than marry someone she didn't love. She disguised herself in an old peasant robe and said goodbye to her pet tiger, Raja. Soon, Jasmine arrived at the market. She took an apple and gave it to a child who had no money. When Jasmine could not pay for the fruit, the angry merchant called the guards. Aladdin came to her rescue and the two escaped. When Aladdin and Jasmine were far enough away, they stopped and talked about their lives. They realized they had a lot in common. Suddenly the guards found them. They realized the princess but took Aladdin to the Sultan's domain. Aladdin realized he had fallen in love with Jasmine even before the guards had revealed she was a princess. But he knew she would never love him in return, for he was very poor. Meanwhile, the Sultan's evil advisor, Jafar, had heard of a special lamp that would give him great power. The lamp just in the Cave of Wonders. According to legend, only a person who was a diamond in the rock could enter the cave and come out alive. Jafar knew Aladdin had rescued the princess and thought he would be able to retrieve the lamp. He could also see how much the young man liked Jasmine. Jafar disguised himself as an old prisoner and went into the dungeon. "Help me," he said to Aladdin. "There is a cave filled with treasure, enough to impress even your princess." In exchange, all Jafar wanted was for Aladdin to bring him the lamp. Aladdin agreed, and Jafar showed him how to escape. Later that day, Aladdin arrived at the palace in grand style, introducing himself as a Prince Ali Ababwa. But Jasmine was not impressed. That evening, Aladdin, as Prince Ali, invited her for a ride on the magic carpet. Jasmine thought that the prince looked very familiar. "You remind me of someone I met in the marketplace," she said. "I have servants who go to the marketplace," Aladdin lied. "So it couldn't have been me you met." But when Jasmine took his hand to step aboard the carpet, she knew she could trust him. The magic carpet took them on a tour of the city and beyond, then back to the palace. "That was just wonderful," Jasmine said with a sigh. Somewhere along the way she had fallen in love. Aladdin was thrilled that things finally seemed to be going his way. But just then the Sultan's guards appeared and seized the young man. Under orders from Jafar, they tossed him into the sea. Aladdin summoned the genie and used his second wish to save his own life. Aladdin returned to the palace to confront Jafar and revealed his true identity to the princess. Before he got a chance, Lago, Jafar's parrot, stole the magic lamp and Jafar became the genie's new master. "I wish to rule on high as Sultan," Jafar commanded. Genie was forced to obey. He lifted the palace out of the ground and placed it atop a mountain. "You will bow to me," Jafar ordered the princess and her father. Jasmine refused, so Jafar used his second wish to become the world's most powerful scorekeeper. Jafar changed Aladdin back into a beggar and sent him far away to a snowy wasteland. Aladdin knew he had to defeat Jafar. Luckily, he found the magic carpet buried in the snow, and they quickly flew back to Agrabah. Jafar was furious when Aladdin returned. He put Jasmine inside an hourglass that was filled with pink sand. Then he trapped Aladdin in a ring of swords. But the young man pulled one of the swords from the ground and challenged Jafar, who transformed into a giant snake. Aladdin vowed to free Jasmine, but Jafar caught him in his snake coils. Without the genie boy, the evil man hissed, "You're nothing." Aladdin thought of a way to trick Jafar. "The genie has more power than you'll ever have," he cried. So Jafar used his third wish to become a genie, but he forgot that genies can only come out of their lamps to serve others. Jafar soon disappeared into a glowing black lamp. Aladdin broke the hourglass and caught Jasmine in his arms, just before the sun completely covered her. Then the genie threw Jafar's lamp far away. Aladdin still had one wish left. Instead of asking to become a prince again, he wished for the genie's freedom. Then he told Jasmine who he really was. The Sultan decided to change the law so that the princess could marry whomever she thought was worthy. Jasmine ran into Aladdin's arms. "I choose you, Aladdin," she said tenderly, and they lived happily ever after. That's all from me. If there is a mistake, please forgive. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.